What's going on, prospectors? Dig Daddy out here in the shed, and I'm bringing you another episode of Backyard Prospecting. And today we're going to be checking out the Kreeger5 from Sluice, their cleanup hyper concentrator. We've checked it out before, but we're going to check it out again, give it a little bit of a different setup, and see if we can get it to work for us. So, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a gear review.
Shed in the back, old dreams in the dark. Dig Daddy's out there with a fire in his heart. Pay dirt on the table, sifting through the night. Glitter in his eyes, everything feels right. Hand in the water, fingers in the mud. Buckets full of promise, gold in the blood. Gear on the bench, tools of a trade. Hustling through the silence, riches to be made.
Now, we've taken a look at this device before and didn't have the greatest of results with it. Ultimately, I think it was mostly due to, I was running it too fast. Maybe I had too much of an angle. And I was trying to run it like it were a paydirt cleanup sluice like I use for my paydirt reviews. It's not that. What this is a hyper concentrator. It's made for fine concentrate material to go through, maybe even classify out all the everything above 20 mesh. We're trying to find the flakes, the little itty bitties. This isn't for looking for nuggets, okay? So that's where I think I screwed up with that initial review. I was running it too hard. I didn't know what I was doing. There weren't any instructions at the time that really gave you a good idea of how to set up. There was a couple little videos out there. If you go on the website now, they have a much better instructional, informational, here's how to set this up. Here's a couple angles, or at least the range of angles that you should work within, so forth and so on. Now, I've decided to just use this as a cleanup sluice for fine material. They had suggested to me that I use some Cape D. They kept mentioning Cape D, Cape D, Cape D. Well, it just so happens that I have a bucket of some Cape D material here in the shed. Didn't even have to leave to grab that experience, so here we are. I got a little cup of dirt. We're going to put some gold in there just to make sure that there's something to catch. I don't know what's in this dirt. This is unsearched, so there may not be anything. And if it doesn't catch any gold, I don't want to blame that on the sluice because there wasn't any gold in the dirt. So I put a half a gram. We're going to put a half a gram of gold in this dirt. Fire it up. Wet up the dirt so we don't get any floating. And we're going to put it to the test. We're going to run it slow. We're going to run it low. And we're going to see what we can find. So don't go anywhere. We're going to check out this Kreeger5 from Sluice. And we're going to give it another shot. All right, stick around. So here we got our setup. We got the Sluice all set up on its frame. We got a 1,000-gallon per hour pump pushing water to it. A little catch basin, tub within that basin, our power supply, DC adjustable 12 volt. And of course at the back of the sluice here we got a ball adjustable control valve, and then the hardware that I use to hook all that up. So the sluice itself is set up at a 4 to 5 degree angle. We're going to be running Cape D, heavy material. So we're trying to make sure that we give the opportunity to the gold to get stuck up in those riffles and not flow its way out of the sluice. The sluice itself has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drop riffles. They're a double tier drop riffle. See those up close. I did a little testing earlier, so that's why you see a little bit of material in there. Just some unseated stuff to check the flow. I did have to do a little bit of repair on the unit. There was a hole that was drilled into it for reasons. So now we got a nice smooth ramp and nothing screwing up the flow of the material and water. All right, so let's fire up this sluice and see if it's going to find us some gold. All right, so what we're going to do here, I got some Cape D some nice fine black sand, a lot of heavies in there, some Cape D pay dirt. I got about a half a gram, 5.06 or 0.506 grams of gold. I'm going to seed this dirt. We're going to run this down this Kreeger and see if it finds all these fines. A lot of fine gold that I put in here, about 2/10, and then 2/10 of slightly larger gold as well. So we're going to get this wet, put a little bit of jet dry in there just to kind of soften things up, and then we're going to find us some gold. Don't go anywhere.
Running down Cape D, pay dirt on my mind, sifting dreams in black sand, fortune's cruel design. Kreeger5 Sluice box, heart pumping fast, washing stones for riches, searching gold at last. Black sands, heavy weight, glinting in the light. Sweat pours, mixing fate, digging through night. Hands rough from the toil, shimmering hopes beneath. Pan the river's coil, finding solace's sheath. Gold dust trails whisper in the rush of dawn, chasing down the whisper till the pay dirt's gone. Grit stains the fingers, riches turn to dust. Only shadows linger in the sluice we trust. Black sands, heavy weight, glinting in the light. Sweat pours, mixing fate, digging through night. Oh no.
All right. Let this run for a little bit just so that it can clear out some of this heavier material. I had to help it along with a little of the magnetic stuff. Didn't want to push that out quite so easily. But what we can do now is take a look at the cells and get an idea of where and how much gold it retained at all the different spacings. Up here at the first drop, obviously the majority of the gold is going to be tucked in right there. Definitely seeing some good gold. Here in the second riffle, not really seeing much gold. Couple itty bitty pieces, so hard to say. Third riffle is mostly all black sand, so might be something captured underneath. And third or fourth and fifth riffles are pretty much the same. So most everything I think is going to be caught up here at number one, obviously. Now the question is did it catch the fine gold, or was it mostly just the heavy stuff, the big stuff? So it is time to clean this thing up, and that then lies the next problem. Now we could snuffer this out, riffle by riffle. That makes the most sense for the first riffle.
Fingers, riches turn to dust. Only shadows linger in the sluice we trust. Black sands, heavy weight, glinting in the light. Sweat pours, mixing fate, digging through night. Oh no. Hands rough from the toil, shimmering hopes beneath. Pen the river's coil, finding solace's sheath.
All right, and the third one, or the first drop. This is the one that caught most of the gold. Lots of fine gold was caught here along with the bigger gold. Let's grab our master snuffer. Lots of glitter all over the pan. Just get every little flake, because that's the point, right? All right, we got our gold. Let's dry it out, see how much we recovered. All right, welcome back. We got the gold all dried up, and we're ready to weigh it out and see what we recovered. Hello. All right. Now remember, 0.56 or 506 is what went in. Huh. Now, there is a little bit more black sands in here than we started with, but we definitely recovered everything. 0.600 grams of gold. Of a gram of gold is what we found. So I'm going to say, yeah, there it is. I see a whole bunch of really, really fine gold. Hopefully you guys can see it. As always, I'll take some pictures so you guys can see this gold up close. And we'll be right back with my final words. All right, let's do it. All right, good stuff. I started taking the pictures and I remembered that I'm not doing a paydirt review, I'm doing a gear review. So I took a couple more pictures of the sluice itself. What can I say? My feelings on the sluice have changed. In some ways they haven't. So let's go over it. Let's just talk it out. Now, with the adjustments that I was able to make to the setup, I think I was able to dial it in a lot better than I was the first time through. That overview that was on the website absolutely helped out to let me know what I needed to do to get everything set up correctly and what I needed to look for. The last time we went through it, the instructions were a little bit vague, and I wasn't really getting that kind of support when I was asking for it. I think maybe just some miscommunications there, or misunderstanding. But overall, what they got going now definitely lets you know how to set it up and what to look for as you're running it, so you can get a better idea for the feel of how it should be ran. Overall, it was kind of cumbersome to set up. Once you get it set up, you can probably forget it and just keep on running it as that forever and ever. Once you get it set up and running nicely. Now, this device, I'm going to say, is really for concentrates. Trying to run it at the river as a regular traditional sluice, I don't think this is the right product. They do make another product, an 8-inch sluice with some drop riffles in it. That's what you want to run out there at the river. This is for your shed or your garage or wherever you're doing your home prospecting, your cleanups, and you bring that concentrate back home from the river or in the paydirts that you've been going through for the last few months. Classify it down so you got a nice uniform. And this is almost more like a miller table in that regard, the way that you use it. You're just peeling away the black sands and the heavies that aren't gold, and you're trying to capture the gold as much as you can and as little of everything else. So how you run it, what material you're running down it, it's going to be really, really picky to all of these factors. There's not a huge margin for error, and you got to adjust it as you go to make sure that it's right for what you're trying to send down the line. Today I was running Cape D concentrates, and I gotta say it was kind of tough going through those. With the Cape D, I think a more active flow processing system might be a little bit better of a fit. It got through it, and it caught all the material, the gold. It caught the fine stuff this time. The last time we were running it way too... Okay, I was running it way too hot. There is no we. I don't have a pet frog out here anymore. I was running it too fast. I was pumping 1,000 gallons an hour down the line. I was treating it like a normal sluice, and that wasn't really fair. It was amazing that it caught anything. That was a miracle in itself. But this time, we slowed things down. We cut that flow. We got the right angle, and it caught the fine gold just like it said it would. So I gotta say, it did a really good job in that regard. It was just really, really cumbersome to set up and maintain throughout, but we got through it. Again, if you set it up in a permanent station, you get it all nice and good, you're probably gonna be fine. If you wind up going with this tool for your cleanup, your classifying, not your classifying, but your fine miller table-like or your blue bowl-like cleanup. Going past and beyond this to another machine like a blue bowl or even a miller table, at that point, now you're just playing with your dirt and trying to run it down as many different devices as you can just for the sake of doing that. So you're probably going to want to pick one or the other. I've got a problem, and so that's why I have all of them. I don't need all this hardware. So pick one, go with that, learn how to run it, and it's going to serve you pretty well. The Kreeger sluice, once you get it set up and running the way it needs to be, it'll probably serve you just fine. Good device. I believe the price was around $350 for the full kit. So it's not too terrible. I tried to find it on their website. There wasn't really any information on sales. There was just the instructions. So you might have to keep checking back to see when they have more stock in stock. More of the gear in stock. If you want to pick one of these or the Sluice, the 8-inch drop riffle sluice that they also offer. But overall, this caught the gold. It caught the fines. There's a little bit more black sands in there, but that's probably more my own fault for the way I cleaned it up and snuffered it all up at the end. If I took a little bit more time, it probably would have been fine. But overall, I got my gold, and the Kreeger sluice did its job. So, or hyper concentrator. So go check that out if you want to check that out. I'll leave a link to their website. Hopefully they'll get some stock and you can pick one up if you want to. But otherwise, that's all I got for you. This is Dig Daddy signing out from the shed. If I don't see you out at the rivers, I'll catch you in the backyard. Peace.